Ladies and gentlemen, mains and mainettes, Shinobi Nation, and the Busters unite. We are here with another Resident Evil video. I know the last couple months has been straight Resident Evil, man, but this actually should be the last video on this franchise that we make until obviously Resident Evil Requiem drops later this week. Hopefully I can have episode 1 when the game launches. If not, it will be the Sunday or something like that. But regardless, this video is going to be a wish list / prediction list of everything I would like to see or think we're going to be seeing in Resident Evil Requiem. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this first and foremost. I know this game has been leaked to oblivion. I haven't seen anything. This is honestly one of the first games that I'm really anticipated for, or really waiting on, that I avoided leaks for. I've been off of Reddit, Twitter. I really only go up there to post a YouTube video. But yeah, man, I heard it's being leaked. Resident Evil, Capcom, they actually put out a message regarding it, so the leaks, that stuff that's going around are real, so I'm definitely gonna stay away from them. Please don't say anything in the comments. I don't want to have to turn comments off for this video. I want to talk about what we're hoping to see in this game. If you do know stuff, just leave it alone. Anyway, I don't want this to be too long, so we're gonna get into it quick, and I'm gonna break this up into 2 parts: the wish list part and the prediction part. I ain't had no script, no, because I think everything I want to say is in my brain, hopefully. So let's get into the wish list. First things first, I'm gonna go ahead and immediately get into like the what everybody was kind of wishing for, and those are the characters. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see Jill Valentine, Ada Wong, Claire Redfield, Jake Wesker, Carlos, even Chris, and this is a wish list, so it's gonna be kind of out there. I know we probably won't get all of these characters, but we're going back to Raccoon City. I know this is Grace and Leon's game. I put Grace first because I love Leon. I'm glad he's back, but I don't want Leon to kind of overshadow Grace. Soon as Leon got revealed, that's kind of already what's been happening. So while I do wish other characters will show up in the game, at this point, I honestly hope it's like a very small role. But the characters that I really want to see and like realistically wish for, I love Jill. But if they want to keep her out of this game again, out of a game in general, I feel like that's okay. But Claire and Ada, I feel like should definitely be in this game, whether it's a phone call, a video call or something. They have to have something, even just a mention. You feel what I'm saying? But Claire even over Ada. We're going back to Raccoon City. We already have Leon and Sherry's confirmed for that game. It will be kind of weird if Claire isn't there. Plus, you got to take in the fact that this Raccoon City virus that's affecting Raccoon City survivors, you know what I'm saying? It would be kind of weird if no other characters show up, but we shall see. The next thing I'm hoping for is DLC. Now, honestly, DLC could work if no characters show up, which would be freaking crazy. DLC would work as that opportunity to bring more characters. And I said it before, but I hope we get like at least 2, but hopefully like 3 story DLC modes, similar to, maybe not separate ways of length, because that was kind of long, maybe not even Shadow of Rose, but honestly how Resident Evil 2 remake did it, or how Resident Evil 7 did it. They had like the banned footage for RE7, a little short DLC stories, building context. RE2 remake had the little stories. Some of them I don't think were canon, but it was something with other characters you could play as. I think RE2 remake actually had a lot more than 7. I'm not sure, or 7 had the most. Regardless, I would love to see DLC expanding whatever story we're going to be getting in the main campaign, because obviously this isn't the last Resident Evil game, and with it being the 30th anniversary, it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, we have to get some type of DLC. And speaking of, the director of this game, I can't say his first name, I think Koshi Nakanishi. The games that he's credited for in this franchise are Resident Evil 7 and all its DLC. We got the Revelations games and Mercenaries, but this alone is hopefully letting me know, I don't know if this really matters, when it comes to game development or whatever, but hopefully we're getting DLC. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we got a lot of DLC for Resident Evil 7. He was the director on this game. Revelations 2, we got 2 DLC packs. He was the director on that. Revelations 1, I don't think we got DLC, but Jill was in that game. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Jill can show up in here too since he directed it. Who knows, man? If that has anything to do with it, hopefully, you know what I'm saying, with Nakanishi being the director, we can get multiple DLC type of you know what I'm saying, stories. One rumor, I don't know if it's a leak or not, I hope it isn't, but one rumor I heard is that Alyssa will be getting DLC, like a flashback. You get to play as Alyssa. That would be cool, you know what I'm saying, especially if Alyssa really does die in the main campaign. Definitely be cool to play as Alyssa again in the RE engine. I should have mentioned this earlier in the characters part of this video, but other Outbreak survivors of Resident Evil Outbreak, Yoko, Cindy, Kevin, George, all of them, I would like to know what happened to them. Are they the 6 that died that Leon, you know what I'm saying, talked about in one of the trailers?
6 survivors of Raccoon City, all dead from the same thing.
You never know. I would like to know that though. Confirm who those 6 are, you know, let me know where they at. I feel like a lot of files with mentions of other RE characters should definitely be in this game. But let's move on to the next topic. Similar to DOC, I want a lot of modes, man. I think the last video y'all saw by me on this franchise was the mercenary video we made. I need a mercenaries mode in Requiem. You gotta have a mercenaries or a raid mode, or merge the two, kind of similar to the mercenaries additional orders in Resident Evil Village. I kind of like how that was blended. We had the stages and the shop, you know what I'm saying. But 30th anniversary, bro, I don't know if it's possible since certain characters don't have models in the RE engine already, but I hope if we get a mercenaries mode, every playable or like main character is in that mode. Rebecca, Billy, Barry, Jill, Claire, obviously Leon, Grace, and Sherry will probably be in it. Alyssa, Outbreak characters, but see, when you get into the Outbreak characters and people like Chev or Jake Wesker, if they don't have that RE engine model, I mean, obviously they can make one, but I feel like it will be easier to bring in older assets, you know what I'm saying? I guess, I don't know how game development works, but mercenaries, raid mode, something of the sort, something new. We need that, bro. I've been hearing this game is like 72 gigabytes or something like that on PlayStation 5. That game is humongous, you feel me? And I feel like it can't just be, I mean, it might be. The game looks gorgeous from the trailers we've seen, but I think the last couple of Resident Evil 4 remake and 8 mercenaries was announced like when the launch trailer came out, and then, you know what I'm saying, it came out like a month after the game's release. So hopefully we can see something similar. At the time of this recording, there isn't any new trailers. If there is, I'll put something up on the screen or link it or whatever. But yeah, at the time of this recording, nothing new has been out other than the word that leaks are spreading. But yeah, man, need mercenaries. And my next wish is costumes. I already know we're going to be getting costumes. We always get costumes in Resident Evil games, but lately from the games that we've been playing in this marathon, it seems like they're kind of slowing down on how many that we can get. I know in the original Resident Evil games, man, 1, 2, 3, something there was a lot of outfits for each character. We know we're going to be getting, I think, 3 for Leon and Grace. They both get 3 fits. Probably going to get maybe fits out on, you know, unlocked in the game, hopefully. But I just feel like more outfits in general would be heat. I've been seeing a lot of concept art come up for older games of outfits that were cut. Some of them kind of wild. I doubt who would get those, but I know Capcom be cooking, bro. The concept artists that be making these fits, there's a lot of fits they would definitely want to have in a game, and I want to have them in a game too. One of my favorite things in gaming is customization, bro. Changing fits. You know, I love how RE4 Remake had the accessory option and all that. I hope we can have something like that, especially with them already revealing that Grace is gonna have a Lady D outfit. So I feel like they definitely want to have some crazy things, and hopefully we can do that. Has there been any other Resident Evil games where skins showed up in the marketplace like after the game's release? Let me know. I honestly don't know, because we've been playing out these games as they came, and you know, been having mods. Now, honestly, when it comes to my wish list, that might be it. You know what I'm saying? There's certain gameplay bits I can wish for. Like, I think I mentioned it in our mercenaries video that I would love to have the little dive and, you know what I'm saying, slide animation from RE6 be in RE9. But I know from the gameplay that we've seen, it honestly seems like it's gonna play like a RE engine Resident Evil 6. There's a lot of combat, a lot of takes down, especially when you're playing as Leon anyway. That's another reason I hope we can get mercenaries, because imagine all the takedowns and the characters, you know what I'm saying? We can get the knee drop, high knee drop for Jill in mercenaries in the RE engine though, man. And then all the different costumes we can see. Honestly, taking it back to new modes, it would be cool if we could get like another version of Reverse, you know what I'm saying, that little multiplayer John they put out. Get another better version of that maybe, you know what I'm saying, or another better version of the Resistance. You know, that was a cool mode that definitely needed to be tweaked. They could redo that with this 30th anniversary thing. everything, and I feel like they can do a way better job at it this time around. But I think that's gonna cover all of my wishes. Obviously, I wish the game, you know, was gonna be good. I'm pretty sure it will be. Something about those trailers and the way it's been presented to us and the way they kind of been keeping stuff hidden, it seems. I feel like it's gonna be very fire. I think it could potentially be one of my favorite Resident Evil. If you saw our little tier video, I think I put it on the S rank for like the games, and it isn't even out yet, but I feel like it's gonna be a S 10 out of 10 type of game. So hopefully I didn't miss anything or forget anything, but let me know all of your wishes down in the comments. But let's get over into the prediction side of things. We're gonna try to get a little realistic. We're gonna talk about some theories and just overall what I'm expecting to see with Resident Evil Requiem. So first things first, when it comes to the story part of things and the theories, you know what I'm saying, that people and myself have been cooking up. One, I think this story is going to be very twist and turns, very, you know what I'm saying, big reveals when it comes to this new Raccoon City outbreak. I think, what did Cherry call it in the notes we saw in the 4th trailer? I forgot what it was called. Raccoon City Syndrome, I think. Elpis, you know what I'm saying, and Grace. Those 3 things, along with the you know, villain, obviously Victor Gideon, it's gonna be some huge twist in that mug. And the biggest twist to that is the theory that I'm going with, and that is Grace isn't really Alyssa's daughter. Grace is actually an experiment. Grace is actually that little girl, Emily, that we saw in the trailer, and you know, they put the picture out of. One, they honestly look kind of similar. 2, in that same, the 4th trailer, we saw 2 other scenes that kind of, it doesn't really confirm that it's Grace, but it confirms that that little girl is a clone. That big creature that kind of looks similar to Lisa Trevor, it has a gown type of thing going. It has the white hair, you know what I'm saying? It's just mutated. That could be a failed experiment. The other like tease or hint to this theory is that one flashback scene, it seems, with the little kids standing in front of the scientist dude. They had the robes on, they were bald headed, and they had red eyes, but they also had, like, you know, surgery. They had the line going across the head, like they've been getting their brain worked on. Experiments, you feel me? Shoot, one of those little, they look, they could have been girls, they were just kids, I don't know, but one of them could have been Grace, you feel me? How would this work? I have no idea. But on that 4th trailer, when Grace was asking Victor, why her, why are you doing this to me? Victor said, because my master made you who you are. And immediately after he said that, it switches to a scene of that little girl, and Grace was looking at her, and you could see Grace's reflection through the girl, you know what I'm saying? I peeped that and I said, wait a minute, you feel me? Grace and Victor probably needs Grace for Elpis. We've seen one of the notes, they had some of the words blocked out, but one word that was, or one phrase that was out, was for the sake of Elpis. I think Elpis is a cure, and I actually think Victor Gideon will end up being a hero, maybe. Also, in that last trailer, we heard Victor, it sounded like Victor anyway, he said, you're an ignorant fool, or foolish, ignorant, something like that. To me, in my brain, the way it was working, obviously this could be wrong. What if freaking we pull up on Victor, how you know, Capcom has been marketing Victor to us, he's a villain, he needs to go. Leon pulls up, kills Victor, you know what I'm saying? We've already been seeing in some of the trailers, and people been touching, you know, speaking on it, Leon is extra numb to this, you know what I'm saying? Most of the time he would try to help. He's been letting people die in front of him. He kind of doesn't care. He's had enough of this. It's been how many years he's been in this mix, and he's infected. What if all that wind of his psyche, he kind of turning into Chris in a way, maybe? He pull up on Victor, it's chitty chitty bang bang, they get into a fight, he mutate or whatever, he kills him. But in his last couple of breaths or something, you ignorant fool, I'm trying to get, I need Grace to make this cure to save the world. Maybe we know he did by the hospital after Umbrella went down. We know he is some type of scientist. We saw the picture. What if he was like Luis in a way? Luis was with Umbrella, but he wasn't necessarily bad. He tried to get out, he tried to fix things, and he died when it was, you know, before, you know what I'm saying? I could see that happening. We never know. That's just a theory I've been thinking about, but you never know, man. Originally, I thought that Alyssa was that big creature that was chasing Grace around. I was like, damn, maybe Alyssa died, you know, maybe she had something in her that nobody knew about. It mutated her, and over the years, you know what I'm saying, she just kept mutating until she finally met up with Grace again. But I think Grace isn't her daughter. I don't know how that will work, but we just have to wait and play the game to see if that's even the case. You know, maybe Grace really is her daughter. If that's the case, who's Grace's dad? Did he die in action? Is, you know what I'm saying, is he Victor Gideon? You feel me? But my next prediction is unfortunate, but I think I'm honestly 50-50 on it. But Leon and his fate, the ending of this game, I was thinking about it not too long ago, but I definitely think this could be a game where he dies, especially if this game comes out and we actually start seeing other Raccoon City survivors, some OGs pull up, especially Claire and Ada, with Sherry already being in the mix. That's gonna tell me, to me anyway, it's gonna make it seem like Leon is definitely gonna die. You know what I'm saying? They're bringing back these players, you know what I'm saying? They're going back to Raccoon City. Sherry's already there. If Claire and Ada show up, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be like, damn, these are all the people that were with Leon during his, you know what I'm saying, situation in Raccoon City. If they wanted to kill him, I definitely feel like those people would kind of need to be there. Obviously they don't have to if Capcom didn't want them to, but if I was Capcom and I was making this game and I wanted to kill off Leon, I would definitely want to have those characters be there. It would be very messed up if he were to die in this game and it's like a Joel situation. He gets beat to death or something, you know what I'm saying, and he's like kind of by himself, or with Grace, you know? Damn. But I'm 50-50 on it, because I don't think at the same time Capcom would do that at all. Leon has been in a lot of games and he's kind of like the Batman of this franchise, you know what I'm saying? He's that poster boy. I don't think they would kill him now. It's been a long time, but I still don't think they would kill him now, you know what I'm saying? Jill hasn't showed up in the game in forever, but they still didn't even kill her off. They know that Jill is popular, so of course they're not gonna kill her. She could have been dead a long time ago, you know what I'm saying, with Resident Evil 5, but they brought her back from brainwashing and all of that, but now she's just in Capcom jail, you know? But I think Leon is gonna die, and I definitely think Grace, she's gonna have a 180. She's gonna start off very scared. She got the stutter. I like how they kind of present that to us as a new character. It's fresh, you know. We've had a lot of RE protagonists show fear, but they were already kind of ready for this, you know what I'm saying? Claire, she wasn't ready for it at all. She had a little training by Chris. She was 19, but she was just built different, bro. That's their Redfield blood. But Grace is really scared, bro, and I like how they're showing that in the trailers. But I feel like by the end of the game, she gonna be hanging with him, bro, and it's gonna set her up to, you know, hopefully, because they set up Jake and other characters, and damn, we ain't seen them in years. But hopefully Grace at the end of Requiem is set up to be yeah, one of those protagonists we can see ongoing and getting better and stronger, and you know what I'm saying, being a main player in the stock of BOWs, you know what I'm saying, if they're still going on, which we know they freaking are. Definitely think I'm gonna like Grace's character though, and her voice actress, man, these trailers that's been coming out, she's amazing. The grunts, the damn emotion she putting in this mug, bro. I think they actually just announced the voice actress for Grace and Leon. Leon is the returning Leon voice actor from 4 remake, I believe, but Grace's voice actress, bro, shout out to her. Another prediction I have, or thought I have when it comes to this game's ending, is that either it's gonna end on a huge cliffhanger, because obviously this isn't the last Resident Evil game. Rumor has it that Code Veronica and Resident Evil 0 will be receiving remakes. Even 5 will be getting remakes. That's the next big trilogy. And if that's the case, we probably won't see another new mainline, you know, Resident Evil 10 for a while. You know, we probably won't see it for a while. That's why another thing, I hope we get DLC. But I have a feeling this game will end on a cliffhanger. And once again, if we look at these games that Nakanishi has directed, I think all of them except for Revelations had multiple endings, you know what I'm saying? Resident Evil 7 had a bad ending and a good ending. If you chose Zoe, if you saved her, gave her the cure, you get the bad ending. If you choose Mia, you get the good ending. Revelations 2, honestly don't know what's the kickoff. I think if Moira shot Neil, you get the good ending. If Claire shoots Neil, you get the bad ending, where Natalia or Alex Wesker takes over Natalia. You know, we reacted to it, so maybe we can get a good ending in it. But maybe would they do that? That would be kind of crazy still though, because it's like, damn, they thought about it. What if they give us an ending where Leon dies and an ending where he doesn't? That would be kind of crazy. I wouldn't do that. I feel like if you're gonna kill off Leon, kill off Leon. If you're not, don't just show us, you know what I'm saying? Like a not canon Leon death, that would be messed up. I mean, if it's not canon, I guess it's all right. I don't want to see that, bro. But multiple endings, I could see that happening. If not, then definitely a big cliffhanger that can set up something else, like a big story DLC. Again, I really hope we can get at least 2 big story DLCs and a bunch of smaller banned footage type of story DLCs, you know? Another prediction that I have that I already kind of talked about in other videos, I probably could have said this earlier when I was talking about maybe characters or something, but I do predict that either Chris or Carlos will show up in this game. The reason is, I said it before, but on the first announcement trailer, we heard a voice line by somebody, but the voice actor is definitely either Chris or Carlos. I'll play the clip.
Have you seen the same shit I've seen?
Yeah, bro, that sounds exactly like Carlos from RE3 Remake or Chris from RE Village. Now, the thing with Chris, well, I'm thinking it's gonna be Carlos that shows up. I don't know, it really wouldn't make sense. I feel like if Carlos shows up, I mean, it's Raccoon City, he's a survivor, maybe they can throw him in as a cameo. In Chris's case, I forgot his name, but that guy did his voice just for 8. He could have been maybe I don't want to say a fill-in, but most of the time when it comes to Chris, it's Roger Craig Smith, you know what I'm saying? That's the OG. I hope they can bring him back. So either that's Carlos or Roger Craig and Capcom. I thought they would have some type of falling out. Let me know if that's true. Maybe he doesn't want to do Chris anymore, but I feel like if they were to bring Chris back for a game like this, Requiem, you know what I'm saying, going back to Raccoon City, even though Chris wasn't there, if he's involved, I feel like they would want to bring Roger Craig back, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely think either Chris or Carlos is showing up. If Chris were to show up, I definitely think it will have something to do with the corrupt BSAA. And that's going to lead me into my next prediction. I definitely think this will be the game that's going to tie up a lot of loose ends when it comes to leftover plots like Alex Wesker, the connections, and the BSAA, especially the connections in the BSAA. I feel like they're going to be heavily involved in this game. I think I mentioned it in one of the last videos we made, but apparently the leader of the connections is somebody named Brandon Bailey. And at first I was like, why that name sounds so familiar? My name is Brandon, but that ain't the point. Brandon Bailey is somebody that we found out about in Resident Evil 5. He's one of the OGs with Spencer and James Marcus and all of that stuff, working at Umbrella on the progenitor virus out there in Africa and whatnot. They're saying that he's the leader of the connections, and with everything we found out about them and the creation of Evelyn, you know, Emily, you know, she may be a clone of Grace, but she could still be created by the connections. Her name is Emily Evelyn series, the connections. You feel what I'm saying? So I definitely feel like the connections will be involved somehow in this story. And when it comes to the BSAA corruption thing, they could easily, you know, make a plot where the BSAA is getting ran by the connections now, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they took them over. We already saw that kind of happen in Revelations 1 with the FBC and Morgan and the BSAA. It was a lot of corruption going on, you feel me? That could easily happen again in this universe. So when it comes to either Chris or Carlos, I'm definitely thinking that Chris would be that character to show up if that was him talking in that first announcement trailer, which means it won't be Roger Craig Smith, but Chris, I can see him showing up. You know what I'm saying? We learned in Shadow of Rose DLC that Chris is still in this mix years after the events, you know, whatever's going to go down in Requiem. That game or DLC took place in 2037, and Rose said, what does Chris want me for his operation with his Howling Wolf Commandos or Howling Wolf Squad or whatever? So that means he's still with his Wolf Squad, you know. I'm expecting them to show up if Chris is in this game, you know. Definitely can see Chris showing up, making an appearance, man, hopefully helping them out, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, my wish list part of this video, I would like to see other, you know, actual Raccoon City survivors, but Chris can show up. I like him enough where I wouldn't be mad, bro. Now, another loose end that could be tied up here, but honestly, this should have went in my wish list part, but Natalia and the whole Alex Wesker connection, you know what I'm saying? What if the master that Victor Gideon was referring to was Alex Wesker? You know what I'm saying? What if they knew each other in the past? You know, he heard that she died, but you know, maybe he doesn't know that she's really living in Natalia. Natalia was a little girl in some of these experiments too. In Revelation 2, another game that Nakanishi made, the director of this game, you know what I'm saying? What if Natalia or Grace and Emily, they were kids too in experiments, and is something kind of connected to Alex Wesker and what she was trying to do, you know, even though she was trying to get a new body and you know, had the fear T Phobos virus or something like that. I don't know how it could work, but I hope we can get some type of, at least a mention to that, if they don't want to make that a big reveal or twist for the story of this game. But I'm gonna end this up right here, man. I didn't want this video to be this long, but yeah, these are just my wishes, my predictions, my theories for Resident Evil Requiem. The game comes out this week. Like I said, this will probably be the last, you know, Resident Evil video you see from me until that game drops. We're gonna have some other stuff going on in the middle of the week, but yeah, man, let me know all your thoughts, your wishes, your predictions. Yeah, I got a lot going on, a lot of gearing, but just want to wait until the game comes out to see if I was right about anything, or if, you know, other characters show up. The only thing that I feel like I'm confident on, maybe it's just me being big-headed, not really big-headed, but the whole Grace, Emily, you know what I'm saying, thing, Grace not being Alyssa's daughter, I feel like that's just like, it feels right, you know, it feels like a good twist that I could see Capcom doing, you know. We shall see. Resident Evil Requiem comes out February 27th, this Friday. Hopefully I can have that episode out, episode 1 out then, but we shall see. Stay tuned for more videos to come, and until then, I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell so you know when I'm posting, man. Share the content, share the channel, do all of that. I'll see y'all in the next one. It's your boy Kai SMG. Peace.